So in the recent Chosen Con, there's some reporting out that Dallas Jenkins kind of reveals what we can expect from season 5, with the wrapping of production on season 5, and now they're going into post production. There's a lot of
Post
buzz around this. There's a lot of buzz around the
does.
Chosen show. I did want to read really quickly an excerpt that was covered and reported on that Dallas said at Chosen Con. If you didn't
Oh,
attend,
it's a direct quote from Dallas.
yeah. So I'm assuming he said this
End
on
quote.
stage, right?
Yes.
All right. It covers the most important and influential week in the history of the world. All right. So this is referring to season 5,
Mm.
Holy Week. And so we start to see now, we start to get in Jesus's head a little bit. We start to see what he's thinking and feeling as he approaches the cross. Next section, we start uh, leaning into the fact that the disciples are confused. Why is Jesus dividing people here? Do we have a chance in Holy Week? 1,000,000 Jews are together. Why aren't we unifying so that we can defeat the Romans? And Jesus is doing the opposite. So we really explore that. But Jesus also gets to kick a little butt this week, too. So dissecting that, kicking butt, we're going to be referring to the temple when he tosses the
Oh,
tables at
yeah.
the temple.
Yes.
Um, when he's talking about what's cool about this is going to be like unifying the Jews with over 1,000,000 Jews all together in the same place during Holy Week to overthrow the
Ooh.
Romans. We're going to be leaning into the Judas character a lot more because
Mhm.
he's really wanting the conquering king Messiah. He doesn't really
Mhm.
want the sacrificial lamb Messiah, right? And so it's probably going to be motivated from Judas's point of view a
Oh,
lot,
yeah.
as to like why are we dividing people? Why is he rebuking people in the temple, Jews in the temple? Why are we dividing our nation? And he's calling for repentance and calling, the Pharisees vipers and stuff,
Mhm.
when we should be unifying to overthrow the Romans. And I think that's going to be a really cool element with the disciples.
I hope Dallas is not. How do I say this?
I
Because
don't know.
we talk a lot of positive with the Chosen because it's a great show and I love it and I'll support it all day. Even if Dallas does stuff that we disagree on
Mm.
creative choices, I'm still going to support it. But I hope Dallas doesn't just give us another season of what we've already seen of because it seemed like so last season was the disciples getting it was what was give me the quote that he gave us. It was like the disciples being restless as they are.
Yeah, it's weary and heavy laden. Is that what you were talking about?
Sure, but no. It was a season of the disciples already they're expecting something of Jesus, and Jesus is then yes weary and heavy laden because he's getting frustrated with the disciples of
Mhm.
them not understanding his purpose there.
Yes. Yes.
And I hope this is not another season of the same thing on top. I know there's a lot in the Bible that he could do, like show us, this, the Passover, the going to the temple and getting mad and uh, destroying all the tables and stuff like that. He could show us. There's a lot more he could show us and be very impactful. But if he has the same core, you know, feel to that season, it's going to be very much. It's going to feel bland in a sense. Where I don't want it to feel bland of something that we've already seen, and you get tired of that. I want to see give us more because this is where Dallas does have creative decisions. He can change things because it's about the chosen. It's about the disciples. And yes, it is actual events in the Bible, but he has liberties here because he said, "Oh, it's everything you see is not in the Bible. I'm doing things so you can understand the disciples, the chosen more. Not this isn't a Jesus story. This is a chosen story."
Mhm.
So I hope it's not a lot of the same things, and he takes some liberties to
Well,
make us feel good with this. And it's not like, oh, let's just get over this season so we can get to the next season, which is the crucifixion.
I don't think it's going to be that. I
Mhm.
think we're going to be dealing now. It's very possible you might feel that way. However, we have to cover characters like Judas. We have to develop his character in a big way to get to be where he's going to betray Jesus.
Mhm.
And the so like I heard this one thing this week, actually, funny enough, from the guys who create South Park on how to craft a good story. And
Yeah.
when you're telling a story from the Bible, I'm sure you'd run into this temptation. Bad storytelling is when you write an event for like a scene and then you say, then this happens, then this happens. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
bad storytelling. What needs to be told is tell a scene, therefore this happens, but this happens, therefore this, but this, therefore this, right? That's how you tell a story. You don't just say, and then this happens, and
Mhm.
then this happens. Like, that's bad storytelling.
You
So
don't
when you're telling the stories from the Bible, specifically all the events that happened during this week in Jerusalem,
Mhm.
it's the Bible's written in a manner that almost feels like, and then this happens, and then this happens.
Yes, because it's a historical book.
It's a
It's
historical
like
book.
the emotional roller coaster. If you have
Yes.
all downs and all ups, and you don't have the down up, then
Yes.
you it gets boring. I would definitely
Precisely.
agree.
And
I that
so
that's
I'm
where Dallas needs to take those creative liberties that he has, and he's not slandering the Bible or changing anything. It's just show us and give us some excitement that doesn't make us feel like we just have to get through this season to get to the next season.
I think we will. We're going to see Jesus experience real anger here. Um, his quote also says we start to see what he's thinking and feeling as he approaches the cross. So there's going to be a bit of fear because remember in his prayer to God he asks, "Could this cup be passed from me?" So we know he's
Oh,
going to
you
be
think that's this
experiencing.
season?
Um,
Isn't
we're
that's the
shaky.
that's in the if I'm
The
getting my timeline
garden,
right, the garden
yes,
right before he gets arrested and then taken
correct,
before Pontius Pilate and all that, and then he gets crucified. So
correct.
that's literally the night before he gets crucified.
Literally,
Literally.
I we've made our predictions. I'm of the opinion that he's going to get arrested, and that's how the season is going to end. That's what I think. I think he's going to get arrested. Season's going to end. It's
Mm,
possible they end the season at the the Last Supper. And speaking of the Last Supper, I actually have something I want us to react to, if you don't mind.
okay.
So they
Give us
put out this little video. It's actually a few minutes long that covering behind the scenes stuff for the final day shooting on The Chosen season 5. So I thought we'd watch
fun.
it, react to it some. So let's go ahead and check it out.
We have reached the final days of filming season 5. Come over here right now. Look at this. Look at this. This is the last day. And what they're doing right now is they're setting up for the final scene to be filmed.
There's something symbolic about being in this small room, kind of trapped together and having this moment of what the Last Supper sequence looks like with how The Chosen is saying it.
Everybody was in their own little corners preparing to serve these characters in a very deep and justified way.
What we're doing right now is called block shooting. So we're actually doing 2 different episodes that we're bringing together and shooting together. And block shooting, what that means is that we shoot the wide shot, then we cut, the camera stays and doesn't move, and we shoot the next scene in that same spot. And we do that for every single setup.
Okay, good. Cut. Great.
It's been really cool, honestly. The way the set has been decorated, the atmosphere inside of the room.
It has been a very precious and very emotionally taxing process.
I don't know if I've just been awake for 100 million hours straight. I don't know.
Because you're in one place at one time.
We're trying to tackle some of the most iconic things that kind of everybody knows. It's in the cultural consciousness, the Last Supper. We're joining.
I got to pause because I want to ask you. So in the past 2 seasons, I've kind of made the one critique I have about the Chosen show is some of these scenes are written very long. There was one scene in season 3 that was 15 minutes of a conversation. The
Yeah.
one scene of two ladies having a conversation that was 15 minutes long. This past season, there was a 12-minute scene of just two disciples washing their clothes,
Do you
talking.
Do you think that's Dallas, or do you think? And I don't know how they have it set up production wise. Does Dallas hand the footage off to an editor, and an editor edits it, and then he critiques it, and he works with the editor? And what you think that's with the editor, or with the writing, or where are we falling short here? You think?
I think we're falling short with Dallas wanting to communicate a little bit too much.
Probably.
And there's a lot of details he's trying to include that he really cares about that could just be fat that needs to be cut. So there is, in that one episode in season 4 with the two disciples having a conversation, washing their clothes, that's like a 12-minute scene. That scene should have been at most 6, like half of what it was. And I think when it comes to editing, I think Dallas is really involved. And so if he gave it to an editor, they'd probably cut. If he's in the room with them, they're probably not cutting much. So I think it's Dallas and his writing style. It lends itself well to telling a good story, but that also means there are certain scenes that are really long. So when I ask that question, how long do you think the Last Supper scene is going to be? Like
a whole episode?
A whole episode of them just sitting and eating and talking.
Yeah, I genuinely believe it probably will be. It'll not just be that, they'll be in tandem flashback scenes or flash scenes to something that's going on outside of the room that they're going to be doing the Lord's Supper. But I think it will probably be, if not a whole episode,
Jesus and the disciples will be in that room the whole episode.
Yes,
right?
And then there'll be
cutaways.
Yeah, some cutaways, flashbacks, or something. But yeah.
Well, probably not flashbacks, but probably cutaways to other characters, like Pilate or someone. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep watching.
Joining the conversation now.
All right, we're good.
Dallas, do you know what sleep is?
I've heard about it.
Okay.
I've heard good things. If God so chooses, I will seek it sometime in the future. But for now, we're busy. In the last year and a half, I have done over 175 days of filming. So we have a few more hours left.
So the year and a half, 365 days in a year. So that's about 600 days. Okay. Mm-hmm. No, I'm overestimating.
No. Yeah.
That is 400, almost 500 days for a year and a half. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's let's just say 500-ish days.
Yeah.
100 days. So that's 1/5 of all your time. All your days are being on a set filming.
And that's not probably including his Christmas project that he crammed in the middle of that for Lionsgate, because this story just got.
I think he's referring to that. I think he's saying in the past year and a half, he's had 100-something, 150-something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
he is. Because he filmed that over the holiday season.
He filmed it over February and March this year.
Okay.
Then I'm going to not actually get a break because I have to go to New York to be editing season 5. I have to be writing season 6 with Ryan and Tyler.
Why do you think they edit this in New York? Because it's cool?
Maybe that's just where they can get some
editors at. Maybe
either LA, Atlanta, or New York. That's kind of the big hubs for entertainment. So,
all right,
it's crazy.
Chosen has grown. Mm-hmm. And so we had the one soundstage, then had to do a second soundstage to be able to fit everything. But even now, had to move it all over here. Now, here's the thing. It's makeshift. It's not soundproof or anything. Hence, the upper room is in there.
Well, the stage doesn't have too much sound deadening material in it. So because of that, I have to have a good watch on what's going on. A lot of traffic today. I'm having to call it for them. Got jet traffic, corporate traffic, got small airplanes, just about everything we got. So it's a little bit of a tough day.
Got Crocodile Dundee over here.
Boys.
Today on the call sheet, it says that this scene is a plate shot. So what is that?
When we have a plate, that means that at some point later, we're going to shoot something that we need to add a plate, meaning a scene, into the background. So in other words, we'll shoot over a blue screen, and then we'll need to put something into that blue screen. That becomes our plate.
What would the last day of filming be without something big happening in the middle of the day?
Right, like starting your day filming in the city, which is way down the road there. And then the second half of the day deciding, let's film in the soundstage. So you have to pack up the cameras, the lights, the equipment, all the gear to drive up that really skinny long road to the soundstage.
Find a spot and hold. Don't move.
This was originally Pilate's balcony, but they've swapped it out with Herod's balcony. I mean, what can't they do?
Kill the bat.
This is cool. So this is behind the scenes. There's no video effects on this shot. So do you think that's artificial background?
I mean, it's gotta be.
Or is it artificial, like there's a screen back there? Or is it artificial?
Yeah, there's probably
where, like a screen, like a big, like projector screen or something.
Yeah,
for the background, for the fake background.
Caiaphas comes to me for a little lunch, and we're discussing crazy energy that's happening in town and this man that's causing a ruckus, but I think he's just a silly magician. And it's a long scene. It's 6 pages. So it's like a one-act play, and it's phenomenal. It's one of the best pieces of writing I've ever had. I hear I'm back, so that's exciting. I'll be in the show another season, so look forward to that for sure.
That's a cut.
These seasons don't get any easier, but we have gotten so much closer, and it's become a really well-oiled machine. So thank you for that, and I hope that you're back for 2 more seasons. But that is a wrap on season 5.
There's a lot of people.
I can't believe we're at the finish line.
There were so many like really intense and pivotal moments this season.
Shame to let him go, but that is also a season 5 picture wrap on Noah.
And they're really, really telling this story. And I just hope audiences, when they watch this season, I hope they realize how much care has gone into each shot that you see.
That is a season 5 picture wrap on our Philip present.
You heard him. That is a wrap on season 5.
Which is so bittersweet. It went by so incredibly fast.
Did you see that? Jonathan Rumi hasn't been in this little video very much, but there he is in the background right there. See that?
Yeah.
It's an interesting outfit he's wearing. It's like white. That's a new outfit we've seen for the Jesus character. See that?
Yeah.
It's a different outfit. We haven't seen him in that kind of outfit before. It looks like his napping gown.
Napping gown. Yeah.
Fast.
So fast.
And it's bitter because it's over, but it's sweet because that means we're that much closer to season 5 and more sweetness is just on the horizon.
For example,
Is that a volume? Is that like a makeshift volume? Look at that in the background. Is that like a projector volume instead of like an LED volume?
It's
Is
gotta
that
be
what we were seeing?
It's gotta be something, but no, not a volume, because volume is a whole screen. It's gotta be something a lot cheaper than that. Or even maybe it's as simple as it's just they have a picture, they're like, okay, Jerusalem, and we're gonna get a giant cutout of Jerusalem.
No. So it has to be video because in the distance, you're going to have like palm trees and stuff. You got to have that blowing. I'm saying this is a backlit projector screen for what we paused on earlier. So this is outside windows, and it's like a wraparound projector backlit. So the projectors are behind it, casting it on the screen, and you could see it from the other side. So I think it's a backlit projector screen, and they're actually putting video up there. That's what I think it is. I don't think that's an LED wall, but it looks like they're attempting to do.
Yeah, I think it's just that picture is up. I think it's a still frame.
You think it's a still frame, like printed backdrop?
Because anything digital and moving that they're gonna have on screen, they're gonna do in post production.
No, this is a sound stage. They're gonna have, if this is a sound stage, this is like, we have the equipment in here to throw up anything on that screen we want. So we can use that for when we're filming stuff next to windows for background.
Play it more, and they probably don't show it.
Post-production stuff.
The after show.
The Chosen Con is coming up.
There's so much coming. You know what you ought to do is like this video, comment on it, and hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on everything that is coming, because just because season 5 is done filming doesn't mean it's over.
Okay, I think it's not the image they have on there. We can't tell if it's moving or not, but I think because this is a sound stage, I think they wanted to make sure that there is the ability to reuse this as many times as we need for any outside window background, which means they have to be able to throw any kind of image up on there.
Maybe. I guess we don't know. Ask
I guess we don't
Dallas,
know.
and maybe
Think I could get a podcast with Dallas now that they're done with filming?
Probably not Dallas, but maybe one of the disciples.